Hello everyone. So happy for you to join me for Pisces season yoga. I do apologize, this is coming out a couple of days after the new moon. That new moon kind of snuck up on me and I was just doing my best in the flow of my own life. So here we are though, you can have this practice for the rest of Pisces season. And let's get into it. Pisces is mutable water. So we're in the flow, and Pisces, mutable is like at the end of the season. So Pisces is closing out the winter season, and we're moving into spring. So in the body, Pisces rules the feet and the toes, and the lymphatic system and the immune system. So in yoga this month, we're really tailoring the postures, the asanas, to move the lymph. And one way that we can do that is like we'll bring the head below the heart and then we'll bring it back up. And the lymph drains in the heart is the main valve that it drains out of. And then it also drains just from beneath the belly button. So we're working on the lymph system and getting more into like the spiritual aspects of Pisces is so Pisces is ruled by Neptune, and it's really just like the cosmic oneness. It's like the cosmic ocean oneness is what Neptune and Pisces like really represents, and something that can be like of issue is like that we'll lose ourselves in the oneness. So today we're going to be working on like recognizing the divine, but within our sovereign body. And what's interesting is that how Pisces rules the lymphatic system and the immune system. The immune system is what really differentiates between self and others. And so Pisces does that in more of a spiritual way too, like knowing that we're part of the one, but also having boundaries and having a sovereign self and having a sense of sovereign self. So by working with the immune system or with the lymphatic system and clearing it out and identifying what is us and what is not us, we're strengthening our immune system and we're strengthening our boundaries at the same time. So that's the gist of practice today. There's a lot more to Pisces and Neptune. It's also ruled by Jupiter, but that's where we're going to focus today. Our mantra is, I am in the flow. I connect with the divine within my sovereign self. So coming onto your blanket, it's always good to elevate the hips, and then you might want to have a block or a stack of books or something near you. And let's just come to quietness, closing the eyes. Dropping in with the breath. You can engage the Ujjayi breath, so it's breathing in through the nostrils and through this valve in the back of the throat, and then breathing out through the valve and breathing out through the mouth. Just being present in your body with the breath. observing how the breath feels within your body. And as we have our eyes closed and we've dropped in with ourself, we're just going to do a quick little vision. Pisces is very visionary. And just imagine about 2 to 3 feet around your whole entire body, like in a spherical shape, or maybe it's an egg shape. A circle of light, of any color light that comes to you. It's encapsulating your body. And this is our energetic boundary. So we've dropped in with ourselves. We've calibrated to us, and ourselves is what's allowed inside of that energetic boundary. And then everyone else is what's outside of there. And it doesn't mean that we don't let people close. It means that we differentiate between self and other. And we know who we are and how we're showing up in a situation versus who someone else or someone else's energy. We're not getting confused between our energy and someone else's. So that's a really beautiful meditation or just visualization that you can use whenever you need to. It's a great thing to do first thing in the morning, just for a couple minutes. Start your day off knowing who we are. And let's start practice by just finding our heart with our fingers and just slightly tapping just below the heart. So we're waking up the lymphatic drain. And then let's move to like 2 to 3 inches below the belly button and do the same, just tapping. And opening the eyes, coming to hands and knees. We'll start our asana practice. So hands beneath shoulders and knees beneath hips. We're just beginning with cat-cow. So moving from the base of the sternum. Inhale, dropping the sternum, lifting hips and head. And then exhale, lifting the base of the sternum, dropping hips and head. Continuing, inhaling. And exhaling. You can continue the Ujjayi breath throughout all of practice. It's like moving, helping our inner ocean of our lymphatic system move. And coming to a neutral spine. We'll come back for Chakravarkasana. We'll do Chakravarkasana 5 times. So if you practice with me and you already know it, then go ahead. And if you're new to Chakravarkasana, just
listen. So we're in hands and knees. And as we exhale, we're pushing through our hands. We're starting slowly to send our hips towards our heels. And then we're rounding the spine one vertebrae at a time. At the bottom of our exhales, our exhale takes that whole time. We inhale, we pull through the hands, bend the elbows, unwind the vertebrae so we're coming up to a neutral spine. And we'll continue 4 more like that. And let's make our way up to standing. So actually, we're not doing standing yet. So coming up through downward facing dog. Let's come back to our knees. The way I like to set up for downward facing dog is coming from our hands and knees, bend elbows out, and then make little half circles with your elbows so the eyes of your elbows, where your elbows crease, are facing forward. The shoulder blades are kind of set in their sockets. Flipping the toes and lifting the hips. Downward dog. If you want, you're welcome to just move the heels up and down. We're kind of waking up the backs of our legs. The lymph moves when we move. So like as the heart is pumping the blood, so the blood is moving even when we're not moving. The lymph moves when we move our body. Exhaling, walking feet to meet the hands, forward fold. So always just checking in with your alignment. You want your toes to be in one line. You're totally welcome to have your knees bent as much as you need in forward fold. And then grounding into the feet. Inhaling, arms come wide, coming up to standing. And bringing hands down to heart center. So bringing the attention to the feet for a minute. Just noticing how they're feeling on the earth. Pisces rules the feet and the toes. And it's interesting because energetically, Pisces is more like up and out, like connected to the oneness. And sometimes they can become ungrounded. So the embodiment practices like we're doing today is really beautiful for this archetype and just this season. But also just focusing on how the feet feel connected to the ground. And that's like this bringing this up and out energy back down to earth. So as we're moving here, trying to use the breath for the whole movement. So what we're going to do is inhaling, coming up on the toes, bringing arms wide. You'll notice it's going to be helpful to find a gaze point, a drishti. And then take a breath at the top. And then exhaling, trying to use the whole exhale to come all the way down slowly with the arms and the heels. Again. Another time, inhaling up. And exhaling, coming down. This time we'll inhale, arms up, but stay on the heels. So inhaling, arms up. Let's grab left wrist with right hand. You can't see my hands, but just grab left wrist with right hand. And then inhale, reaching up. And then exhale, we're doing a side bend over towards the right side. And we're just doing it, we're lengthening up and then over. We're not crunching in the side. It's like you have like a beach ball like in your side and you're just going up and over it. Breathing. And then inhaling up, grabbing right wrist with left hand. Inhale up and over. Just getting in a side stretch. Inhaling up and exhaling, hands back to center. So we'll move into sun salutation A 3 times. Inhaling, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, stepping back, plank pose. Hands beneath shoulders. Exhaling, chaturanga, so elbows are in at the sides of the body. Exhaling down all the way to the belly. Tops of the feet are on the floor. And then inhaling, coming up. A small cobra. Exhale, coming down. Flipping toes, pushing up through plank or hands and knees. And exhale, downward facing dog. Breathing here. And on your exhale, walking feet to meet hands. Inhale, half lift, lengthen spine. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, coming all the way up to standing. Exhale, hands at heart center. So again, inhaling. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Coming all the way down again. Inhaling, cobra. So you can come up a little higher. Being mindful to not jut the chin out. You're reaching up through the top of the spine as if the spine extended out the top of your head. Exhale, coming down. Inhale, coming up, plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. On your exhale, walking feet to meet hands. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, up. Exhale, hands at heart center. One more time, sun salutation A, inhaling up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, plank. And this time you can come down all the way and come to cobra, or you can come to upward facing dog. So if you're coming upward facing dog, exhale, chaturanga. Flip the toes, inhale up, upward dog. The only thing that's making contact with the mat is the tops of the feet and the hands. Exhale, lifting hips, coming back. Downward dog. On your exhale, walking feet to meet hands one more time. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. And inhaling, coming up. Exhale, hands at heart center. So just taking a moment here, recalibrate back to our center, back to that place at the beginning of this flow. And we'll set up for Parsvottanasana. So feet are hips distance apart, and they stay hips distance apart the whole time. So let's leave the right foot in front, and then we'll step back about 3/4 of our long stance with our left foot. The left foot is about a 45-degree angle out. If you might want to use your block, so maybe grab your block and just have it in front of your mat within reaching distance if you want it. And our hips are staying square to the front, square to the short edge of our mat. The way that this stance has been explained to me is like you're staying on a 2-track stance. So like if your feet were on like railroad tracks, like that are as wide as your hips. So we're stable here. So inhaling, arms come up. You have a long line of energy extending from your back heel up to your hands. Exhale, slowly hinging at the hips. And coming all the way down. Hands connect with the mat or with your block. It's up to you. And then oftentimes the hip of the foot that's in front, so our right hip might shift forward on the way down. So if that's so, just pull it back. We're still working on having our hips square here. And if you have the flexibility, bringing head towards the knee. Your front knee has a micro bend in it. We're definitely not like hyperextending our knee, but it has a micro bend in it. Bringing hands to hips. Bending the knee a little bit more. Inhaling, coming up halfway. Breathing. And exhaling, coming back down. So you can have your hands framing your foot or on your block, Or you can bring your hands at a prayer pose in front of your right foot, head towards knee. Breathing Ujjayi breath if you can, drop into it. And then inhaling to come up, hands either out in front of you or on hips. Halfway, pause, take a breath. And then inhaling up all the way. Stepping back foot to meet front. Exhale, arms coming down. Opposite side, stepping back with the right foot on our true track stance. 45-degree angle with the foot. Hips are square to the front edge of the mat. Inhaling, arms come up. Exhale, fold. And working, again, head towards knee. So this is a really beautiful pose. If you're feeling like too up and out, like Pisces can be sometimes, we're bringing our Ajna chakra, our third eye chakra, to our knee, which is like our root and our grounding. So we're making that connection. We're coming back to earth. Breathing. So hands to hips. Bending front knee slightly. Inhaling, coming up halfway. Take a breath. Exhale, fold. Bringing hands to either frame your foot or to prayer pose in front of you. And either bringing hands to hips or extending arms out in front of you. Inhaling, coming up halfway. And then inhaling, coming up all the way. Exhale, back foot comes forward, arms coming down. So grabbing your block and coming to a wide stance on your mat. Your block is in front of you and your feet are pretty much at their widest stance. Toes can be angled in just slightly. And then we're going to come into wide leg forward fold. So hands at hips, lengthening spine, and exhale, hinging at hips. You can bring hands to block, or you can bring head to block. Breathing here. We're getting an inversion. inhale, lengthen arms. And bring left palm flat on the block or on the earth, whatever works for you. And then right hand comes flat on your sacrum. So we want to keep our sacrum, this downward facing triangular bone at the base of our spine, flat the whole time. So we're just twisting in our spine. So inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist to the right side. Opening up, sacrum stays flat. You can then extend your top arm. And inhale to unwind. Opposite side, left hand flat on sacrum, lengthen spine. Exhale, twist to the left side. And inhale to unwind. Let's exhale, forward fold once again. Maybe you connect your head with the block. And then inhaling to come up. Bringing hands onto hips, bending knees slightly, and then inhaling, coming all the way to standing. Heel toeing feet together. And then we're coming all the way down back to the mat. And let's do just a short child's pose. Bringing forehead to the mat, or you can bring forehead to your blanket, or even to your block. And let's bring hands, palms face up behind you. Inhaling to come up. And since this is our mini practice, we're just going to do one more pose and then make it back to Shavasana. We're going to end on Navasana. So this is strengthening our core, and like spiritually, it's strengthening the core of ourself and helping us remember who we are here. So hands behind hamstrings, leaning back, lifting feet. You could feel free to have your knees bent or extended, hands out in front, breathing. If you want to challenge yourself and go a little lower. And then we're going to exhale, release, coming all the way down to the mat. And we're coming all the way into Shavasana, our final resting posture. So Shavasana is where we let everything that we've just done in our bodies kind of, and our spirits really, kind of settle. The postures are specifically designed to open different energy channels in the body called nadis. And now, as we're settling, we're relaxing, we're kind of like leaning into these new energetic channels that have been opened for us. So just finding energy of settling within your body, mind, and spirit. Feeling supported by the earth. Floating on the cosmic ocean of Pisces season. And when you're ready, wiggle your fingers and toes. Take a deep breath, and then turn to one side in the fetal position. Pushing your way up to seated. You can choose to sit on your blanket or the floor. And bringing hands to heart center, returning to our mantra, I am in the flow. I recognize the divine within my sovereign self. The light in me bows and honors the light in you. Namaste. Thank you for joining me for practice today. I'm working on trying to keep these mini practices a little shorter at half an hour, so bear with me. And if you like this and you want a longer practice, we'll do breath work at the end of our longer practices also. Join me on Patreon. It's Embodied Elements on Patreon. You can find the link in the About section on my YouTube page. And it might take me a couple days to get the long Pisces season video up, just because that is how my life is flowing right now. But I hope you all enjoy this end of winter time and kind of flowing with moving the winter out and coming into spring. Many blessings.